Good evening and welcome to our August board meeting. I call this meeting of the Bastrop Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Would you please stand and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Remain standing, please. Is there somebody from the Ministerial Alliance here tonight? If not, I would like to ask Trustee Glenn Peterson to lead us in a word of prayer, please.
Okay. Bow your heads, please. Oh, Heavenly Father, we come before you once again, asking you to lead us and guide us in the business of the district. Heavenly Father, just bless each and every person here. Heavenly Father, bless this district. And, Heavenly Father, just please bless this nation and the world and take everyone out of harm's way. Heavenly Father, we just say thank you once again for allowing us this privilege and this opportunity to serve. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you. I'd like to ask Sabrina Locke to come forward, please. Sabrina is a senior at Bastrop High School. Just a little bit about her real quick. She's going to speak tonight on the character trait of respect. Sabrina enjoys reading, writing, photography, and painting. Her parents are Jenny and John Locke. If your parents are here, would you stand to be recognized? Thank you for coming. Take it away.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Sabrina, and I'm going to share with you my personal thoughts on respect. Now being 17 and a senior in high school, I can definitely say my definition of respect has developed beyond the childhood concept of the golden rule. Through life and learning, I have come to realize that it stretches further than merely treating others the way you want to be treated. To have respect is to have courteous regard for others' feelings, to represent yourself in a dignifying yet modest manner, and to show consideration for your surroundings. I have also learned that this concept, although an expectation, is often only an ideal because respect is not always given. People tend to interpret respect, like I have heard it described, as a two-way street. Although this seems fair, it initially means if you respect me, then I'll respect you. This brings me to my final point, that to have respect and to be respectful are personal choices an individual makes based off of their moral standings. These decisions should not be biased or dependent on the actions of others. Choosing to be respectful is simply choosing a better sense of self and a hope for a better impact on all that surrounds you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sabrina. We're going to move to our open forum portion. I'm going to call each and every person. We have a couple of speakers tonight. The board encourages comments from citizens of the district. Anyone wishing to speak obviously can sign up. The board asks the comments pertain to public education be no longer than 3 minutes. Remember that the board may not discuss or act upon issues that are not posted on our agenda. If an issue is mentioned, it's listed on tonight's agenda. The board will defer discussion to an issue until the appropriate time. Our first speaker is going to be Rebecca Bennett.
Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Murray. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. I'm Rebecca Bennett, president of the Bastrop Federation of Teachers, and I'm here tonight to commend the administration for bringing to you a report on teacher workload, especially paperwork. As in any large organization, paperwork and responsibilities grow each year, especially for the troops on the ground. However, there never seems to be a process to review these things to determine whether they are still necessary or relevant. I hope that through the work of the Superintendent's Committee and teachers and staff throughout the district, we can identify those tasks and responsibilities that are no longer necessary and eliminate or revise them so that teachers and staff can spend less time on paperwork and more time on meaningful instruction for students. I especially want to thank Mr. Edwards for his commitment to this issue and his work with the Committee of Teacher Organizations. And I also want to add that I don't have the numbers, but I know this district spends a lot of time and a lot of money each year recruiting teachers to the district to fill open positions. The board has been generous the last couple of years when they're able to with raises for the staff. And money is a good way to attract good people. However, those people are not going to stay if their working conditions are unmanageable. So yes, it may be a quality issue for teachers, but it's also a financial issue for the district to make sure that teachers are not burdened with too much paperwork. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your comments. I'd like to now call Dr. Vera Preston Yeager.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. It's nice to be back. I've missed being here. I'm just excited about all of the things that the district is doing. I'm very proud of the district, and I am just looking forward to a wonderful school year, and I'm so impressed with all of the new, the organization, our cooperation with ACC and the district. It's just an exciting year, and I hope good thoughts for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments, Dr. Yeager. Ms. Stephanie Fletcher.
Good evening to the board and the superintendent and also residents of Bastrop. My name is Stephanie Fletcher and I'm a resident here. And I am here to offer myself as a resident to do whatever work needs to be done in order to make sure that Bastrop maintains itself as a great place to live. I really enjoy living here. And I, as a PhD student at Texas A&M, I look at all the things that are going on around, and I said, how do we make sure that we keep our community a great community? And the only way that we can do that is if residents offer themselves to the community to find out, where can I fit to serve in the community? And so therefore, I'm here today to offer myself, and the work that I do is in capacity building. And so with that, it means going into communities and working and building capacities so that we can maintain a strong relationship, not only with residents, but also with our students, because I am a former teacher. So that's what I'd like to say, and I know my 3 minutes are up. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Miss Joni, is it Ashbrook? I didn't hear.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Joni Ashbrook. I teach here in the district, but I'm here tonight as a citizen of Bastrop County, and I feel like I am just representing the concerns of some loyal Bastrop employees. And I feel like I have been clueless about what's been happening with the outsourcing. I'm speaking tonight about the agenda. You know, you're talking about the June minutes. and what happened with the employees. I come back to school and I'm finding out from my employees that the custodian and the maintenance, that all the hours that they had sick leave, all of their personal time is now zeroed out. And the dejected look on these people's faces and the place, like, where are they going to go? What are they have no voice, it feels like. They were told they couldn't ask questions, couldn't get to even speak. This all happened so quickly. I feel like I don't have anything concrete because it hit me so hard I could hardly sleep last night. And I know I understand school districts are under financial crunch, but I just want to ask the board to take a good look at how we're cutting and what we're doing in order to make these schools run. I think that who we're trying to teach and what we're trying to teach needs to be an example. And I think this is a horrible example. And I have a question. I mean, I talked to so many employees. I would like to know if the maintenance actually got their sick leave and their personal leave back, and the custodians did not. I don't know if I get answers tonight. Is that possible? Pardon me?
The board
Okay.
can't respond.
I'm sorry.
Because it's not on the
I'm
agenda,
new.
but I'll ask Henry.
Thank you. Were the custodian, I'm not sure, but I believe nobody had any insurance coverage in July. Possibly you went back and took care of them afterwards, but there were some people that didn't go to the doctor because they didn't have any insurance. These are people that are barely making it hand to mouth. And I'd like to know what the legal procedure is to outsource the grounds and housekeeping and maintenance. And did you follow the legal requirements for this procedure? And what cost is the district to get these projects finished? Like, I think we've had to go in, because we've lost so many people, we've had to go in and bring other people in, is what I'm understanding. I think that we need to be taking a look at this. If we're going to go down this road, I think we need to look at what the repercussions are. Besides the human repercussion, what are the economic repercussions? And is it efficient? If we're going to do it, at least is it efficient? Did the company that you hired, this is another question, tell all the employees that they would be covered by their insurance July 1st? One other thing, everybody has to hang this in our walls. It's early act first night, and the kids have to recite it every morning. I just want to recite it for you. Of the things we think, say, or do, number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Henry, do you mind addressing some of those questions? Cindy Giesman. Say that right.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Murray. I'd also like to comment on the outsourcing that is presented in your minutes from the June meeting. As a citizen and a taxpayer for Bastrop ISD, I read the minutes, or what was posted anyway, and I understand that BISD believes that they will save $500,000 annually or $2.5 million over 5 years through this outsourcing effort. This information that was available to the public also stated that effective July 1st, GCA would employ all current BISD maintenance and operations staff at the same wages, benefits, 401k with match, along with Social Security retirement. What I've been hearing is something quite different. What I've been hearing are horror stories about staff, longtime staff people at BISD losing many, many hours of personal leave. Highly skilled plumbers and electricians leaving the district. And so what I'd like to ask the board to do and the staff at the district is to come back and have full disclosure to the community. What are the losses of staff? What are the cost benefits? What are we losing already in losing these skilled plumbers and electricians? And how is GCA going to ensure that those staff are replaced with the same credentialed staff that left those positions? If we're really going to say that we're doing this because it's a cost savings to this district, I want to see that as a taxpayer, because what I'm hearing doesn't match up with this kind of cost savings. So I would appreciate the board asking staff to come back at the next meeting with a full report of the impact of this contract starting July 1st to present. How many staff have left the district? How is GCA going to reemploy people at the same level of skill? And just what were the economic losses to long-term BISD staff in terms of personal leave? I would appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Last, we have Karen. I apologize about the last name. Is it Sterling?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Ms. Sterling.
Good evening, board members. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I do appreciate the time that you are giving me. I also am terribly, terribly concerned about the maintenance and the custodial staff. They've been our loyal and trusted employees for many, many years, many of them. They're highly skilled. They've done this job for a very long time, and then suddenly, without any notice, they found out that their jobs were being outsourced to a private contractor. The optics of this are just terrible, since the majority of them are Spanish-speaking, and it seems like it happened to them suddenly, and it seems like it happened to them without warning, and it looks terrible, it seems terrible. We need to have it be more open, we need to have more discussion of it, and we need to not have it happen suddenly. The citizens of this community, and I'm one of them, are very concerned about this, as we are about everything to do with our school board. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Now we'll move to the business portion, and we'll have public hearing with Ms. Nancy Roll.
Thank you and good evening. Board members, Mr. Murray, and the public, I'm here this evening to conduct a public hearing on the optional flexible school day program. We operate that program right now at Genesis High School. Do I see Martin? No, I don't. Okay, the program goals and objectives are to improve the graduation rates for students who are in danger of dropping out of school or who have dropped out or who are behind in their core subject areas. The objective for the optional flexible school day program is that 100% of the enrolled students will stay in the program or return to the regular high school program and not drop out of school. That 100% of the students will show performance gains on the state assessments, either TAKS or STAR. The schedule that we have proposed for this year and the years that we've had in the past. Day school for students at Genesis Alternative High School will be 7:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday throughout the entire calendar year. And after school academic calendar year. After school for students at Genesis, they can attend from 4:15 to 6 o'clock Monday through Friday, and some flexible dates from 8 to 12 during summer break at Genesis High School. The purpose of this flexible schedule is to allow students to return to recover credits, and we offer the flexible days so that they can work if they have to outside of the school day, but to make sure that they're coming. Does anybody have any questions about the Genesis and our optional flexible school day program? Okay, thank you. Board members, do you have any questions? Okay, then I'll proceed with the report. In order to participate in the program, you have to be a student who has dropped out of school or at risk of dropping out, participate in an approved early college high school plan, attend a campus implementing an innovative design, or be denied credit for one or more classes in which a student has been enrolled in as a result of attendance requirements. The Bastrop Independent School District serves students of that list who are at risk of dropping out or who have been denied credit for one or more classes in which the student has been enrolled, so students who are behind in their credits. Last year, we had a total number of 202 students enrolled. There were 800 credits earned, 103 students graduated, 60 were withdrawn, 39 returned to the comprehensive high school, 28 transferred out, and 30 dropped out. Right. In your board packet, you should have had a copy of the application for the optional flexible school day program for 2014-15. And as a requirement of participating in the program, we had a public hearing and reviewed the program data for the 13-14 school year. I would like to ask that you consider moving to approve the 2014-2015 optional flexible school day program application.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the application for the optional flexible school day program for the 2014 and 15 year. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
We will now move to the curriculum report, the accountability update. And just so everybody knows, on our agenda review meetings on Thursday, we go into quite a bit of detail for those that don't attend those meetings. We encourage people to come, and actually I think we had probably more people Thursday than we do tonight. So if you see the board meeting running kind of smooth and few questions asked, there's a lot of questions asked on Thursdays. The agenda review meeting will be the Thursday before every school board meeting. So we encourage y'all to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Good evening, board members and Superintendent Murray. Tonight I will be going over the ratings and the result. I will not be going over as in-depth with explanations of how we obtain those ratings as I did Thursday night. However, at the end of this presentation, if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer them. I just want to acknowledge that we are now Accountability Connect members, and so therefore we have borrowed some slides from John Fessenden to better report and explain the TEA accountability system. The accountability, the big picture, there's actually what we call 4 and 4 tiers, and in one of the tiers there are 4 performance indexes. The 4 tiers happen to be ratings based on the 4 performance indexes, the distinction designations, the system safeguards, and the community and student engagement and compliance, which is new for the 2014 accountability year. A brief explanation of how we obtain these scores with the sample in front of you for a middle school is that we basically take the total amount of tests that students take within the district, and then we take the total amount of those that met satisfactory, thank you, Donald, satisfactory standard. We divide those that met by the total test, and we come up with the percent of phase-in satisfactory. We're still at phase-in 1, and we wind up with the points on the right, and that's our score, and the target is 55. And that's how we obtain the scores you see in front of you throughout the district. Those in the gray are the target scores, and those are in the green are the met standard, and the blue not meeting standard. It's very important that we remind our board that the criteria included for Index 1 in 2013 cannot be compared to the criteria included for Index 1 for 2014. As we shared Thursday night, it's not just apples and oranges, it's the difference in meat and fruit. Totally different. Index 2 happens to be all the student progress. That's all it's about, is progress and not passing. This is how it looks. You look at math and reading, and they look at the percent that met or exceeded progress, and then they also get we contribute to our index for those that exceeded. We look at reading. We also take and look at the same thing in math, and then we combine the two in reading and math, and we come up with the index score. And so this is actually a sample from one of our elementaries, and then that's how we obtain the scores in front of you on the screen for Index 2. It's important to say the same thing, that it's impossible to compare last year's and how we obtained the criteria, how we obtained the rating from the criteria compared to this year. The third tier that we are measured in is closing performance gaps, and it's all about reaching and pushing our kids to level 3, which is advanced, the old commended. And so there's 3 student groups that we look at, and the 3 student groups are economically disadvantaged and your 2 lowest performing groups. And so to do that, we are required to share the intervention that we put in place and the expectations, and we went in more depth last Thursday night. But basically what we're going to show you is that we are to share with the board that what school year it was, the students that we had in intervention, whether they met the target or did not meet the target, meeting phase in level 2, those that did and did not. And then in addition, Bastrop put kids in acceleration to push towards level 3, and we're reporting on level 3 those that met the target that were in acceleration and those that did not. So in front of you, you see Bluebonnet and how they scored as far as their intervention, Cedar Creek Elementary, Emile, Lost Pines, Mena, and Red Rock. And as you go on to our intermediate campuses, CCIS is in front of you, and we were unable to get accurate information for BIS. At the middle school, Cedar Creek Middle School, the same information on all areas that there was intervention and or acceleration, and Bastrop Middle School. And then our last campuses, Cedar Creek High School, as well as Bastrop High School. So with all that said and all the support put in place from the beginning of the school year of 2013-14, our results for Index 3 are shown on the screen. The last one happens to do with post-secondary readiness. It has to do with 4 indicators. Those 4 indicators happen to do with STAR Level 2 final, graduation rate, our choice of diplomas recommended or distinguished, and post-secondary readiness, college readiness. And this is how both of our high schools are measured, each with them being weighted equally. From 8th grade and below, we only look at Level 2 final, and that is how Index 4 is scored for our campuses. And with that, this is the way and the result of Index 4 for our campuses in the district. Again, it's important that we don't try to compare these percentages with 2013. And here's the final for all indexes of how Bastrop ISD did for accountability in the spring of 2014. The second area that we want to share and we want to celebrate are the distinction designations. The distinctions come in several areas. 1, 3, and 4 are the way we were measured last year for distinctions. 2, 5, 6, and 7 are new, and they're new for accountability, so we have more options to obtain distinctions. And our results are Cedar Creek Middle School ended up with 5 out of 7 distinctions. Academic achievement in math, science, social studies, top 25% student progress, and also post-secondary readiness. We celebrate that as awesome that they did such a great job. When you get to Cedar Creek Intermediate, they got 4 distinctions in academic achievement in reading, ELA, in science, top 25% student progress, post-secondary readiness. Cedar Creek High School walked away with 3 distinctions. The first being in science, the second in closing performance gaps, the top 25% in post-secondary readiness. Bastrop High School walked away with 1 distinction, academic achievement in science. And Bastrop Middle School walked away with 1 distinction in academic achievement in science as well. So those happen to be our distinctions. The third area that we talk about in accountability is our system safeguards. And in front of you, what you have, and it's very hard to read, I apologize from the back, but basically you're looking at performance and participation rates, and we celebrate because Mena walked away with 100%. They got 100% in both performance and participation, and others we would like to highlight are Bluebonnet because they were at, I believe that's 93. Bastrop High School is at 91, and then we walk away with Cedar Creek High School at 89. Cedar Creek Intermediate, I believe that's 80. Thank you, Barry, 89. And the last one we want to celebrate is the district at 82. Sorry about that. Emil walked away with 80. So anytime you perform at 80 or above, that's very exciting. These are state system safeguards. Federal safeguards come, and they're a different, we'll get that at a later time as far as our how we performed and met those. The last that's new to the accountability system is community and student engagement and compliance. This is something new. And so a little bit of background for that. Superintendent and administration team, we got together in February and we determined attributes of the 9 categories for community and student engagement. We also determined 1 to 3 goals for improvement in those 9 categories. We took that information to the District Educational Improvement Committee in May. We invited all of the members. We invited all the campus principals. They also brought 1 parent rep so we could be very well represented from those stakeholders beyond the employees of Bastrop ISD. 9 groups were formed, and the outcome of the superintendent's advisory team in February was shared with the committee, and each group voted on the 9 categories separately while rating the group felt the district should obtain from what they feel, from what we do, and attributes that are done on the campuses and throughout the district. The majority rule was the final rating, and our campus and campuses followed the same format. So this is what it looks like. If you look on the website, it has the categories on the left, it has the ratings on the top. Each school district could come up with their own rating system. I don't know if that will continue in the future, but right now every school district independently came up with how they would be rated. And then at the bottom, you'll see that overall the rating for the district as far as the 9 categories was exemplary. You'll find a sheet like this for each of the campuses if you go to the website, but this is their final overall rating. And so with that said, that completes our accountability report for 2014. If you have any questions or any clarifications that you need, I'll be glad to answer at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Janie. Now we'll move on to personnel report. Mary?
Thank you, Mr. Allen. In your board book, I put a specific memo in there and the policies that govern the teacher workload. And in a nutshell, what it says is that the board shall review any kind of redundant paperwork that we're asking teachers to do. And on an annual basis, at y'all's request, we do a report. And so we're here to do that this evening. So what we've been doing over the course of the last year is we've been meeting with the leadership of each organization. And for y'all information, we have 5 active teacher organizations in our school district that we meet with on a monthly basis. And the first step that we took was we tried to define what the areas that we wanted to focus on, because there's a lot of paperwork that goes into it. And the key to this policy is that it's not redundant or something that can be done by a non-instructional person. And so what we did is we targeted 3 areas that we're going to work on this coming year, and it's outlined in your memorandum, but I'd like to just go over them publicly. We're going to solicit additional specific information from teachers that will improve teaching and learning. So we're going to do some kind of a survey to identify teachers' ideas and thoughts. We're going to also discuss with other school districts strong practices that they may have going on in their district so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel necessarily. So we've already talked to our groups about that. We're going to review and determine the amount of non-negotiable procedures. When we meet with our organizations, what we're discovering is that each campus has some individual activities that they're asking teachers to do that we may not be aware of at our level. And so we're trying to identify those and see if we can create more efficiencies as far as that goes. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to monitor and limit the number of as possible meetings and stuff. So for example, in the HR department, we discovered that we were having teachers go into Skyward to enter subs and then having to go into ASOP, for example. So we reduced 1 step out of that, and electronically now it will upload. That's just a simple, redundant thing that we were doing in our department that we were able to correct already, as an example. So we look forward to working with the organizations and coming back next year at some time to give you a report on where we are. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
This ties into the same comments we heard from Ms. Bennett. This is the same.
Yes, sir. Ms. Bennett's the leadership of BFT, and yes, this is exactly what she was talking about. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, Barry. Now we're going to move to the consent agenda. nobody wants to pull anything, we will entertain a motion to approve and move on to the action items. Did you want anything on that or no? Do we need a motion to?
Not a motion, it's just, do you want to talk about it? Yes.
Donald, you want to
Moving forward, let Donald tell us where we are.
talk a little bit
at this
about
stage, or-
this possible naming of the stadium?
Sure. At the Thursday meeting, gave the board kind of where we're at as it relates to naming rights for Bastrop Memorial Stadium. I kind of updated you on that there's a suitor that's out there. There's someone who's interested in wanting to engage the district in this conversation. We work with Steep Creek Media. They're a marketing company that specializes in going out and finding that the money that's out there that's available through naming rights, through school bus advertising, through a whole plethora of different ways in which we can have individuals do sponsorships within the district. Where we're at right now, we have someone who's interested, and I just was seeking guidance from the board on whether or not this is something that you would be interested in the school district pursuing. Because they're waiting. The individual that's interested is kind of waiting on, we're in the negotiating phases of all the different particulars. But before they get too far down the road and looking at this, I really need guidance and direction from you on whether or not it's something that we would even want to entertain.
I think, look, just talking Thursday in the meeting, I think that we're interested in anything. Obviously, money talks, as we said. So you should move forward and then set the ground rules as you guys see fit.
But I do want to say that, as we did talk about the other day, when we were selling land or something like that, we also, even though we have a suitor, we still want to, if it's something the board is interested in going forward with and letting Donald move forward with that, then we'd want to also open that up and say,
absolutely.
Is there anybody else that has interest in the same manner?
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
ground rules that you set.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to open it up to everybody.
And structurally, they'll walk us through that process as far as that being the case. In the anticipation of the fact that the board wanted to move forward, have begun to look at doing some homework with them as far as what stadiums have been named in Central Texas and really throughout the state of Texas. And it really runs the gamut as far as what that price point would be. And so, again, we're in the negotiation phases of it, and I will get back with the board as we.
Well, as I said Thursday, and since we have a different audience here tonight,
Okay.
I want to make sure it's a public meeting, that if we were to even seriously consider this and go forward with any vendor or entity that would want to pay us to name the stadium, it would not take the name Memorial Stadium away. It would be whatever that vendor is and then Memorial Stadium.
That's
I
correct.
want to make that very clear.
And also, would it be a final board decision on the final candidate? Is that correct?
Yes, and that's to the board's discretion. We would bring all of those things forward to you guys as far as to be able to review and look at and bring forward a recommendation moving forward with that. So that's correct. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Donald. We'll now move to the consent agenda. And if nobody wants to pull anything, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
It's moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries, and we'll start our action items. First presenter, I believe, is going to be Sandra.
We're here tonight to ask the board to approve the tax rate that we're wishing to adopt at the September public meeting. This year, we're proposing $1.04 for our M&O tax rate and actually 40 cents for our debt service tax rate. That's 2 cents down from last year with our values that we received from our certified values. With that increase of values, we're able to reduce that debt service tax rate. So there's a copy of the notice that'll be published in the September 6th paper, and then we'll have our public meeting on September 16th. So I just need the approval to publish that and then be approved at the board meeting next month.
So moved.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the proposed tax rate to be published in the notice of the public meeting held in September. You said $1.04 for M&O and 40 cents for the debt service, which is 2 cents lower than the current rate. Is there any discussion? The only thing I will say is anytime we get a chance to give anything back when we're able to, it's kind of nice to do. So can't always do that, but in this case, It looks like we're able to give a couple cents back. So if there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. We'll move to approval of the district improvement plan. Ms. Pollard.
In your board packet, you have a copy of the draft 14-15 District Improvement Plan, which has included the 6 board goals and strategies and planning strategies from our strategic planning several years ago. And so in that, you will see that all of the statements are written and highlighted in yellow if they are new or extended, and those that we have accomplished highlighted in blue and to be removed after the approval of the district improvement plan. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer at this time. Otherwise, I recommend the board approve the district improvement plan as presented.
So moved.
Second.
The moved and seconded to approve the district improvement plan for 2014-15 year. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Move to Mr. Edwards.
All right, thank you again, Mr. Allen. We're less than a week away from the start of school. In advance of the start of the school year, we're requesting 6 additional teaching positions in anticipation of student growth and our class sizes. Just make sure we keep our class sizes. This is just an insurance policy, if you will. We will only use the positions if we have to use them. It's just so that we don't have to come back or we lose any time in making sure that we have teachers in every single classroom. It is part of the budget amendment that we brought forward. So at this time, the administration is recommending the approval of 6 additional teaching positions on a contingency if we need them.
So moved.
Second.
The moved and seconded to approve the administration for 6 additional teaching positions if needed. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
And you'll keep us up to speed, Barry, as you
Yes, sir.
use those. Great, we'll move to D, and I'll ask David Long for a motion.
I'd like to make the motion that we have Mr. Billy Moore represent BISD as a delegate at the TASB convention, and Ms. Molly McClure is to be the alternate at the TASB convention.
Second.
Wow. Wow. It's not your birthday, but
It's close.
it's been moved and seconded that Billy represent us as the delegate for the TASB Assembly in Fort Worth, Dallas, September, and Molly McClure be the alternate delegate. Is there any discussion? Probably not. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We don't need to go to a no because we have a majority there. Congratulations, Billy and Molly.
I appreciate that. I look forward to this.
Now we'll move to Henry. Henry has stepped out. Okay.
You just move on to the next one.
Okay, Janie, we'll go to the resolution.
I love electronics. It has blocked me out and I can't get back in, so I'm going to wing it. I'm just going to be honest with you. In front of you, you have the resolution for EIE policy, and it's because of the math assessments and the SSI grades in 5 and 8 for this year. And therefore, since we will only be taking one, we need to suspend the policy only for math for Thank you. We need to suspend the policy only for math for 1 year, so I would recommend that the board approve the resolution for the suspension of the EIE policy as follows. I hope that's correct. Okay. Yes, I recommend the board approve the resolution to suspend portions of EIE local for the 14-15 school year only.
I so move.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to suspend the portion of the TASB policy EIE for the 2014-2015 school year only.
That's correct.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank
We'll
you.
drop back to E. Mr. Gideon.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Murray, members of the board. We discussed in your workshop
26-acre tract of land that we own up in Page, Texas. This is property, as I said the other night, that for the benefit of the public here today, we received through annexation and consolidation when this took place in the 60s and 70s. This is 26 acres of land that is landlocked. There is absolutely no access except through private property. We've leased it out through the years for ag, but it is property that the administration basically has determined would not have educational value for future development. The reason it comes up tonight is we had an inquiry from a local property owner and a businessman in the Page area, and he would like to try to bid on a purchase of this particular site. So what we're asking for this evening is a resolution that allows us to go forward and designate Mr. Murray and myself to work with the bidding process to receive bids that we'll bring back to you in a future board meeting.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to start or approve the resolution. I got lost here. Authorizing the initial of the proceedings for the sale of the real property located in Page. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
While you're up there, do we
Thank
need to
you.
vote on IPM, or is it just?
No, sir, that was information only. You have the authority to appoint. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Henry. Now we'll move to Sandra one more time.
The district has the opportunity to refund $8 million worth of current bonds we own at an estimated savings of $1.1 million in payments over the next 20 years. This is something we've done, as you know, on an ongoing basis. Anytime we have the opportunity to do bond refundings, we like to do that. It helps on our bond payments and lowers our interest rates. So tonight we're asking you to consider the issuance. It's a long recommendation giving parameters orders for the board or for Mr. Murray to, as soon as the interest rates are at the best rate for him to act on those bonds, and we'll have the bond sale as soon as possible. Sorry. Yeah, so it's a parameters order. Do you want me to read the recommendation, or do you have it there? I didn't know if you had it. It's kind of long.
I have it. It's long.
Okay,
I
yeah.
got it.
So, but that's it, and I think the sale would be done before February, but I'm thinking it'll happen in the next couple of months, actually, based on the interest rates. Yeah, right away.
Do it pretty soon, because there's going to be an uptick eventually in
Right.
interest rates. So.
Yeah, so we'll work. Okay.
And Sandra, roughly, how much savings over the last couple of years, just roughly, with this one included, just for the audience here?
About $7 million in savings over the last, probably the last 3 years, since Mr. Murray's been on the board. Yeah, yeah.
Y'all's effort on behalf of the administration.
Yeah.
Thank you for
That, great. All right.
I think this motion just gives them a better timeline. We don't have to call a special meeting. Those kinds of things when the bonds are callable and the rates are the best. So I think it's a good thing. So we'll entertain a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to consider all matters incident related to the issuance of the sale of Bastrop Independent School District tax refunding bonds, Series 2014, including the adoption of an order authorizing the issuance of such bonds, establishing parameters for the sale and issuance of such bonds, and delegating certain matters to an authorized official in the district. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
I think it just makes a lot of sense to do that. Then we'll move to the information items.
Great deal.
Looks like we need some board action on a delegate from Hutto. Looks like we have a trustee, Doug Gall, that wants a position in Region 13 on the TASB board. And if nobody has anything, he's reached out to us. So if nobody has an issue with that, we may want to support that. He's probably the only one that's reached out.
We've had a couple. We had one from Gonzales. I've talked to both the superintendents. I just believe that Hutto, being in the area and being closer to our size, is going to meet closer to our interests and
Okay.
what we need.
Okay. Then we'll take board action on Mr. Doug Gall with a motion.
So moved. Second.
So moved and seconded to approve that our vote will go for Doug Hall of Hutto ISD for the Region 13 position, B Director on the TASB Board. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Before we adjourn, we just want to thank everybody for their attendance. The convocation was really good on Monday. Full house, a lot of energy. So I certainly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the speaker, enjoyed both bands, and it was just a lot of enthusiasm there.
I think before we adjourn, somebody ought to say happy birthday to our board president.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah.
Birthday. Nancy said she wants to lead us.
29's a tough year.
Barry, you gonna sing for us?
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
Mute my mic.
Oh Lord.
On three, everybody.
1,
2,
3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear James. Happy birthday to you.
All right.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. And I'll tell everybody I'm 40-something. So we'll just kind of keep it at that. One of my other fellow board members texted me this morning and said, "You 50?" Don't push it, Ashley. Not yet. Hang in there. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Appreciate your attendance, and we will see you next time.